Well. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Write Your Narrative, a weekly podcast where we are discussing everything street art related happening in South Florida. I'm your host, Pascal D. from Talking of the Wall. This week, my guest is South Florida artist and muralist Carlos Solano. Born and raised in New York, in the Bronx, Carlos draws inspiration from his upbringings and experiences. He is inspired by positive energy, music, nature, and spirituality, which all play a part in his artwork. Good morning, Carlos, and welcome to Write Your Narrative. I've known you for a few years now. I've seen you painting your very first mural down the street. That was how long ago you painted that boombox? Like five, six years ago. Yeah, that was right before the pandemic.
Yeah. I was going to say it's probably 2019. Good morning, by the way. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Oh, you're very, very welcome. Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the studio.
We are in your studio, which is actually a collective studio with you, with the remote, Serge, and Chink. So the four of you are creating in that space.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
How's Carlos's journey? How did you get started in the art?
Man, if we really want to say where the journey started, it was like I was maybe 5, where I made the decision that I'm going to be an artist. Come hell or high water, I just wanted to be an artist at that early age. So you can say that the journey started there. I pursued it through college and through high school and all that stuff. And then, I got my degrees in art and all that. And then I fell into the graphic design game. I worked professionally as a graphic designer for almost 18 years. Out of the 18, maybe 10 of those were kind of like coinciding with the street art thing and me finding my language and my style in the street world, doing murals and live activations and, whatever events I can get into. And then I would say maybe 2015 was where things started to align, where I can use the knowledge as a graphic designer and the knowledge of the whole art thing that I'm doing on the side and kind of make them work together. And then over time, these two lines kind of became one. And that's where I'm at now. I'm just using all that knowledge and to, on the corporate side and the street side and being able to provide a service and also create for myself and, all these kind of things. So yeah, it's been a journey. I've met a lot of amazing people along the way who've lit fires inside of me to continue, and it's been a blessing, an absolute blessing, and an amazing journey with a lot of ups and downs, like any other journey.
Like any other journey, yeah. This is life. This is that thing called life. Yes.
For sure.
But you actually started. You were born and raised in New York, in the Bronx.
Yeah, South Bronx, New York.
South Bronx, New York. So. Yeah. There is some influence, I guess, from New York in your work.
Absolutely, 30 years in New York, and again, another blessing to be able to be raised in such a unique place in such a unique place in a city that's so important to the rest of the world. The South Bronx was kind of like the foundation, everything, the hip hop. My influence in hip hop, the Latin culture,
Yes, it's something that is very, very present in your work. So when did you actually move to Florida?
We moved into December of 2009.
Okay, so it's
been, it's 14, 15 years now. Yeah. And I kind of hit the floor running when I got here. But it's been awesome. It's amazing how, I ended up here, and there was the whole Wynwood movement, and Wynwood was it wasn't as raw as many people remember it.
Yeah.
In 2009, but it still had that really, there's still galleries and still places to walk
still
around.
A bunch of galleries at the time.
Yeah, it was very, very influential to an artist.
It was, yes. Wynwood is Wynwood. There's only one like it.
There's only one. I'm very fortunate that I came from New York, which is very influential in its own way.
Sure, yeah.
To find this place, and I was like, holy shit! This is amazing.
So coming to Florida, you how did you? Kind of got into the art scene here. You met some people. You met. You worked quite a lot, I guess, with the Lebo, who passed away last year. Someone that we missed all here in Florida, who was a great influence. He was on the cover of the Talking of the Wall in May 2015. Yeah. So yes, he was one of the greatest here.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was my mentor, my friend, one of the first to believe in me.
Yeah.
So he's definitely high ranking in my regards. I consider him my art dad.
All right.
Because he's always there. He always gave me opportunities. He believed in me to the point where he would risk his brand.
Yeah.
Right. He would gamble his brand.
Oh, he was well established. He's still well established. Yeah,
Super
yes.
established. I mean, the guy. I mean, there's not enough words for me to say what he represents to me and who he is to me. I was lucky enough to meet him through. I think Yuval. Renda was doing like open mics, and then I met Yuval, and I think it was through Yuval that I ended up. So yeah, there was one time I had to fly to Puerto Rico to do a little family emergency thing, and then Libo was running a campaign on JetBlue.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm waiting on the flight, and I see this artwork. I see, the artwork is amazing, and I see it. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. I love this guy's stuff, and he's based out of Miami.
Correct.
Amazing. So back then in the Facebook days, I send a DM. Hey man, I love your work. It's super cool. I'm also an artist. I just want to let you know that your work inspires me. Super dope. At that point, I had no real vision or direction with my work. I was a graphic designer. I was just working.
Yeah.
With, I guess, a little dream of like maybe being my own artist, right?
You have to have the drive. You have to have the dream. The dream has to be somewhere here. You just got to wake it up and say, okay, this is it. Yeah. And then you go and knock on the door and
and then
there it is.
And then it's crazy because like, that little seed has one little leaf of being an artist one day, right? So I send him a DM and all the whole thing, and he hits me back. And I was like, holy shit, this guy who's on a JetBlue commercial, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, he was very down to earth. I mean,
he was the best.
He was just a real dude, a real guy. I mean,
he was the best. And then, long story short, I worked at New Era, and I found an opportunity to get involved with him through a project, and I was able to meet him. And then during that one meeting, I told him, I was like, I want to do what you do.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do that. And he goes, you can do it. And I believe that you can do it. And if you show me that you want to do it, I'll support you the whole way through. And then fast forward another 2 years, I'm doing my first Art Basel show, which is a group show that we did. We were the Magic City All-Stars, and it was me, Alvin, and a bunch of other amazing artists. And then, he was always the guardian angel for art.
He was, yes.
And believed in me. He instilled so much knowledge. And, he was one of those people that you get off the phone with him, and I felt like I can take over the world. Yeah. Like, he just gave me that much confidence and positive energy, and he made me believe in myself.
Yeah,
which is, half the battle, right?
It is half the battle. I mean, just putting someone on the right track, saying, okay, and a good kick in the butt, sometimes that's what you need. And then, you on your own, you go and fly and do your thing. So, super blessed. Still hurts to know that he's gone, but blessed to have had him in my path. I still try to honor his teachings and his ways. He was always very positive and caring and loving and human. At the end of the day, he had his faults like anybody else. But absolutely.
But his teachings more than his artwork was what impacted me.
Yeah.
Being conscious, being kind, being professional, being the right mindset. Like, these are things that are part of my brand.
Yes. And when we did his interview for the magazine, I went to his studio. We did a photo shoot with Sandro at the time, and it was incredible to see how many painting he had started, and he had all that process, working from one painting to the next one, and then he would give a painting to someone to finish. And I was absolutely mesmerized. I've never seen anybody working like this. I mean, it was
that was a first for me too, to see like, oh man, this is like a machine. Like,
I was a machine, yes. I was grinding. That's it. Okay.
He's a blessing, man. He's still watching over us. He's still watching over us, for sure.
But since then, your career really took off, since you kind of went through that whole process with him, the learning and everything. So you've been painting. Most of your work right now, I would say, is on murals. You do more murals than artwork, actually, canvases work?
Yeah, I would say that majority of the work now is mostly murals. Again, I have a family.
Yes.
And murals tend, it's the easiest way to sustain and living and pay bills and all this stuff. So yeah, I would love to just make artwork for myself. But we all know selling a painting sometimes could take a lot longer. But murals have been the main focus.
The main focus, yes.
As of now, for the last 2 years or so.
Well, there's just so much happening in South Florida, in the Miami. I mean, with all those sports team that we have, all these major events. I mean, the F1 that just happened. This is absolutely beautiful to see how much they are, because they bring so much money to the table. So it's incredible to see that they are actually working with the local artists. There's a whole group of guys that are doing a lot of work and year round between all these festivals, music festivals, Ultra, the F1, and there's always something happening here in Florida. Yeah. So this is really cool. We are at a good place.
It's super cool. Yeah, it's excuse me. It's we're very fortunate that we live in a city that local businesses and sports teams and all that appreciate art and to see the value in art from a different angle, because they see it as a vehicle for them to elevate their brand and their events. Yeah. But they're willing to work with artists, and we're willing to give opportunities, and it gives us a chance to survive and live. I mean, could you imagine living in a city where there's no murals and there's no appreciation, and you're just in the studio, hoping and pleading that somebody will buy your painting? Like, it gives us opportunity to work and do a lot of good things. So I'm very, very thankful that South Florida has kind of like that appreciation for what art can bring to the table.
Yeah, you do a lot of work, and you actually one of your biggest mural, I believe, is just down the street here. We are in Fort Lauderdale, by the way. So this is a mural you did for the Panther a couple of years ago in 21.
Yeah, that was the first big commercial mural. Did that with your son. We teamed up.
And with Maxence,
Yeah, with Maxence, we teamed up and we presented the idea. We had no clue what the wall would look like. Well, I had no clue.
You had no clue?
Yeah, no, until we went to see the wall, and it was like gigantic, 100 by, I think the measurement's like 90 feet wide by 60 feet tall or something.
It might be the biggest wall here in Fort Lauderdale.
It might be.
One of them.
It might
There's
be.
the Flagler wall also, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. You're right. There's, I would say that one's bigger.
Yeah, this one's bigger, yeah.
But yeah, and it was like my first time on a lift.
Very confident?
Yeah, but I mean, listen, man, it's not too much, but it's, again, reaching back into my teachings and my beliefs. Like, I just got to believe in myself. I got to give myself the grace to learn and to be part of the process and break the process down into smaller projects and just kind of work through it. And then I learned a lot that week, and we got it done in 9 days.
In 9 days, wow!
9 days.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this wall, it's something.
It's cool.
Quite spectacular.
It's cool,
yes.
and until this day, I still get a lot of love on that wall.
I'm sure.
So it's cool, man. I'm very blessed to have worked with your son on that project and the Panthers, and that opened the doors to a lot of other projects with cities and other teams and a lot of stuff, man. It's sometimes you just need a few big projects to kind of get things going. And
yes, of course.
Like any other career, right?
Have you been traveling a little bit in the U.S., in different cities, in different states? Have you painted outside of Florida?
No,
not yet.
That's kind of like the goal for the next few years. That's kind of the goal
for the next thing.
Maybe hit a few different countries or cities or something and see how my work is embraced in other places. I think I do have opportunities. Again, I have 2 babies.
Well, that's another thing.
It's hard
when you're a family man, it's just okay.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Maybe once my daughters get a little older, but I got a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old, so I'm very much involved with everything, and so it's a leave. Like, hey, I'm leaving for 3 weeks to paint murals. Like, it's not an easy sell.
No, it's not an. It won't fly that easily.
Yeah. But the goal is to take the artwork everywhere, as far as it can go.
Yeah. So one of the questions, and actually you more or less answer it. What are the challenges that you faced when you do all these big walls? Of course, the elements here, and then the lift you mentioned, and the paint.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real challenge. I mean, you can say there's challenges with weather and scheduling and all that, but I found that my communication with my wife is key, and just kind of breaking down the month into scheduling and going over key dates and just being clear with the clients, the people in my life,
Yeah.
and understanding that, this is how I provide for my family, so that people are respectful that I do need this time to do these projects. So
Exactly.
it's just a lot of compromise and working and scheduling. And, I got to work crazy hours sometimes, right? Where I got to like wake up at crack of dawn and go paint, and then come home, be a dad, and then go back to painting at
Go back to
night.
painting, yeah. When,
It's,
once
it's
everybody's
tough,
in
right?
bed, that's it.
Yeah, it's like
You're gonna
16,
take
17.
them in and
oh,
tuck them in and whoop.
yeah, 16, 17-hour days of like grinding, but I love it. I love it. I signed up for this, right? And I hope that we all reap from the benefits of this later on. But yeah, the main challenges, or besides the obvious of weather and equipment and stuff like
Yeah.
that, can be all solved through communication and just being clear, and that's how we kind of work on it.
Yeah, you do a lot of project with the real estate people. You're doing a lot of commission work.
Yeah. I've thankfully I've been able to partner up with like the Hard Rock as a new
Yes.
partner. The Panthers have been loyal partners for a long time, and it's just a lot of work. And the harder I work, the luckier I get. It's kind of
Well,
like
there's no secret. You gotta put the hours
Right.
into it, and then
Yeah.
make sure that you on top of it, and then you go places. You are showing your art. So talking about your art, since we have a couple of pieces
Yeah,
of
for
art
sure.
right next to us. So how did you come up with this style of work, and how do you describe that kind of style of work? It's a little cartoonish. It's
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, to be honest with you. It's I would say it's a mixture of graffiti, cartooning, and maybe a little bit of fine art. I haven't named it.
Fine
Yeah,
art.
no, fine art. Ooh.
Ooh, ah.
No oil paints though.
no oil paints yet.
But I haven't really named anything. I would just say it's just kind of like my own style. I don't know, but it's all from all my different influences, like a little bit of Lebo's lines and like how he manages paint and
Yes.
how he used to draw his lines and stuff were very like impactful to me. And then graffiti with the implementation of colors and mashing things together. So
Yeah.
this is kind of like my style. I don't really know what to call it or name it, but it all comes from a place of love and positive energy. Like
Definitely.
the one thing that I say about my artwork is like I don't create artwork to confuse people. I want my artwork to be very clear and concise, and I want my artwork to spark joy,
Yeah.
happiness.
Oh, it does. It does.
Nostalgia.
Like the
right?
painting right behind you, there's just like music. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
you have all that, lots of vibe, lots of.
This is a house party in my house.
This is a
when I
house
was
party.
a kid. We have the old school garments, the musical instruments, the house plants.
Yeah.
My father had milk crates where he stored his records.
Oh yes, that's
Cigarettes, and so
the
these
way to
are
do it, yes. That was the way to do it. Yes.
beautiful nostalgia that as a community we shared in the South Bronx, because this is my house party, but this was everybody's house party, right, in my neighborhood.
Yes.
And so yeah, like the focus of my artwork is to instill a moment of joy, a moment of nostalgia, and a positive message if I can, right? Of like, because I'm a big believer in promoting positive thinking and approaching things from a positive way. So that kind of all lives in my work.
Yeah, it does. It does, and it shows. It shows definitely. Those paintings are very alive, and they're full of details. There's really like so many different things that you can look at in your painting, which is very interesting. Do you have a favorite color palette that you use or something?
Probably not.
Not
really. I've tried, like the painting behind you is like getting rid of the color palette, right? And it's
Okay, yeah.
so. But I
black and white.
I try to think of like if the theme is to do something that's Hispanic, I'll try to think of colors that represent my culture and be it the food, be it the clothing, whatever, right? And I'll take from that. But there's no one real particular palette that I always go to. It's just more how I use the colors, how I put them together, how I bunch things together. I love bunching things together like this. I would say
Yeah.
that's kind of like my favorite thing to do is how do I tell a story by mashing a bunch of random things together that all are kind of tied to each other, and convey a message through that where it's not like a lady cooking. No, it's a bunch of like utensils or whatever, and telling stories through items.
Yeah, you almost hear the noise, the noise from the kitchen,
Yeah,
ding, ding, ding,
yeah.
or the music. You feel, you represent the music. That's very different style of work. I don't know how many people are working that kind of unique.
I would say it was embraced on, and like when I first started doing it, it really resonated with people, and I realized it. So I was like, let me just figure this out, and it kind of kept growing.
Yeah, it's working quite well, because I mean it brings you tons of work, tons of places, different places here, and like you said. Ready to travel sometime soon.
We're putting it out to the universe. You guys hear me?
All right.
Let's go.
Anybody wants
Anybody
to
out there?
Solano? Yes.
Anybody out there listening?
Not just traveling north and south of Broward. And,
Let's jump a pond or two, right? Let's get to this. I've never been to Europe.
Never been to Europe.
I've never been to a lot of places, man. Unfortunately, I grew up in a very humble, low income home, and vacations were at grandma's house in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay. Well, so about Puerto Rico, have you? You don't have any way to go over there eventually? Bring your art over there. There's a few people. I'm sure there's some street art festival over there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's opportunities there. My father still lives there. And my family's there. I haven't really pursued it. Again, I think the traveling part I'm a little hesitant because of the family life.
Because of family, yes.
There's still school and all this kind of stuff, so I haven't really given it a try to see what that looks like and what kind of stress that brings, and what kind of, how do you manage that with commitments of partners here, right? Like, so in due time. But in my mind, I'm in Japan. I'm in Africa, wherever. That's like I envision to take work as far as I can take it, and hopefully represent. Latin culture, South Florida, New York, and my stories.
And your stories.
As far as I can, right?
Like each painting has a different story, like you said. We hear the music, we hear the kitchen.
Yeah, man.
There's the life. It's kind of somehow a simple daily life that you picture in those paintings in your work, and it seems to be working.
It's fun, man. It's fun. It's cool.
It's fun. So what about the collaboration? Since we are in a space here with 3 other different artists, you guys collaborate sometimes. You inspire each other.
We it's being here is a blessing also, right? Serge, Remote, and Chink are teammates. Where it's good to have a group of people that you can sit down and talk about art, throw ideas at each other. Be honest with each other, like this is cool, this is whack, this is
this is whack.
Yeah, this is not working, and then at the same time help each other with projects. Serge does an amazing job with F1 and curating and all these things, and we all learn from each other in different ways, right? We all have our own superpowers.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a great place to just call home base and collaborate on a more intricate parts of what we do instead of just making paintings together.
Yes.
We work together with how do we tackle certain projects, how do we work together to assist each other doing certain things.
Yeah, it's more like the back work and what.
Yeah, which to me is the most important work, right? Like the laying foundations and opportunities and all that kind of stuff. So it's important. It's been a great blessing, and we've been rocking together now, man. 2 years in this location, and then 2 years before that, we were not in the same place, but like really close to each other. Yeah. So the dynamic was always
really
been
there. Yeah. And it's a friendship. So talking about location, we are in Fort Lauderdale in the up and coming Thrive district.
Yep. The new Thrive.
Yeah, the new Thrive. Yes, since Mass District is gone.
Yeah, man, it's all gone. It's all
gone. Fat Village, yes.
It's called Flat Village now.
It's called gone. Flat Village.
It's gone.
Oh, that hurts. Flat Village, yeah.
But it's coming back, right? There's plans for it to come back.
Yes, well, that's what we heard. But then in the meantime, that the Thrive district, art district, is kind of booming. It's really. They're doing that art walk that really opens all the studios, brings some art to the community, different things, different people from different horizon, different stuff. music, art. So that's a good thing. You usually take part of it.
We're blessed to be next to Thrive and what Thrive
Yes.
may be in the future. But the bigger blessing is that we're busy, man. We're on it. We're 4 professional artists who have our own clientele. We got a lot going on. So it's hard to have that monthly commitment to an art walk.
True.
Being that we have, if you go look at my studio, there's a bunch of stuff that I have to store that are for bigger projects. So I don't have the time to clean up for 30 people to walk through my studio. I'd rather dedicate the time to handle these projects and do what I got to do. And the same applies to a lot of us. So, I think over time we will be more involved in Thrive. But for now, we're lucky to be very busy.
Yeah, it's always a good problem to have, being busy. Okay.
It's just how it is, yeah.
Bring some business, bring the cash, bring the dough,
Yeah.
and then, you feed the family.
Yeah. When it's time to get busy, we get busy. And then when it's time to have fun. But we do plan on having a few open nights. We had one not too long ago where we had, it was a show called Keep It 100.
Yes.
And we had pieces that are like, this is your one and only time to get something for $100. Be it a sketch or something. And we packed the place out. Stepdad's Pizza was in the bag making pizzas, and they did it. They killed it.
They killed it.
And then Crooks was on the turntables. It was a great night. It was fun, and we plan to do more open nights like that, where it's like a very conscious, very curated night,
yes.
where it's like we present a elevated product. It's not just an open studio where people come in and see the same shit over again. We want a different experience every time we do that. So that's kind of like the approach for artwork with us.
Artwork, yes.
Yeah.
So you create your own event.
Of course, yeah.
So as far as painting, do you work with any galleries right now? Do you have any representation? Do you have any eventually solo shows? Or you really focused on the murals?
So the main focus has been the murals, mostly because I have amazing partnerships and it's a great way to provide as a father, as a husband. But yeah, the goal is to have a solo show, and I'm not represented by a guy. I represent myself, manage myself. Yeah, maybe over time teaming up with a gallery would be an amazing thing. But right now it's just kind of not that I'm going for murals, it's just what's presented itself, right? It's what people are asking for. It's what I'm able to do. I'm lucky that I'm able to put my style on the wall. And then I'm also lucky that my style works commercially.
It does.
So, you want a bunch of hockey stuff on the wall? Yeah, I love it. Just make it happen. You want a bunch of McDonald's stuff on the wall? We'll do it. Yeah, it's great. And it still represents me.
It's still, yes.
And
your style is recognizable. I mean, really,
Thank you.
miles away. You can see, this is you.
Thank you. And
you really have your own things that you put in the work. Yes.
Thank you. So that's just what's been presented as of late. But yeah, like any other artist, I would love to just be in the studio creating artwork and doing gallery shows and doing solo shows. I will say that I do have kind of early notes for my first solo show, and I want that to be very, very impactful. So I'm not talking about it. I'm just kind of formulating it, notes, and when it comes, it's gonna come and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a cultural experience. It's gonna be
a whole package.
I want people to step into one of my paintings for my first solo show, if that makes sense.
That's yes. That's pretty ambitious.
Yeah. So,
it could be fun.
Yeah, I think it could be amazing. In my mind, in my head, it's fucking amazing already. But there's a lot that comes with that. It's funding, or when and where, and do I have the time to sit down and make that many paintings?
Yes, it's a commitment.
It's a commitment.
It's another commitment for another thing. So.
Yeah, but for now, the murals are amazing. The partnerships are amazing, and then again, those partnerships and those projects open doors for other things, and I gain collectors also who want to collect my personal work during the process. So it's all a machine that kind of just provides, and it's amazing, man. There's no other word that I can say but fucking amazing. Yeah.
Well, so I guess we're going to have to do an episode 2 of the podcast whenever you are ready, because I want to know about this show.
Yeah,
I want to
absolutely.
be there. We're going to be there.
Well, you are going to be there, man.
Yes.
You've been a big supporter of me and my work for a long time, man, and of all of us. And in behalf of us as a community, we thank you for being a historian.
Thank you. Yes, I tried to do my little part. Yes.
Of course, bro.
I think the very first time that I saw you painting, That was at the Walbro. I don't think this was the Walbro, but this was with Derek Wilson down in Brickell.
Yeah.
You guys, actually, that was a Walbro. You guys had the competition somehow.
Yeah.
And you were, this was the first time. So it goes back to.
That was a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And those were fun times where, doing, and then another way to meet people. I met you, met Serge, and all these great guys. And yeah, those are amazing little stories that
and
we
Derek
share.
was waiting for you to go down to one of his schools and
Yeah, I know, man. Derek needs to find a school that's closer up north, man. He's painting walls in Kendall. Where is it? Homestead or Key West?
way south. I got lost the other day.
It's tough. It's tough,
time
to
management.
Yes. Yeah. I did a wall for the Hard Rock down in Coconut Grove 2 months ago, and it's on US 1 and 27th Street.
Yes.
It's like at the end of the 95, and just to make it there was a task alone. It's like an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half to get to a wall, and traffic and all this stuff. So
traffic in Miami is no joke.
Atrocious.
It's
man.
absolutely atrocious. Yes,
but
and there's one little drop of rain and everything goes
Man,
chaotic. It's
that's
like, yes,
that's got to be the worst part, right? You're like, all right, I made it. I'm finally here, and like
I made it.
And the weather goes bad, or it's too hot, or but this is kind of where I'm at now, man, and I'm thankful, and I give thanks, man. It's an amazing.
Well, I have to thank you for being on the podcast. Since you're really part of that South Florida art scene, I wanted to hear your voice on the podcast.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you. So,
Carlos, lots of blessings, lots of good projects happening. Kudos to you.
No,
work.
Thank you.
There's no other thing. There's no other way to put it.
The 3-step rule that I have is be kind, work hard, give thanks.
All right.
That's it.
Well, I guess we're going to finish with those words of wisdom. All right. Well, Carlos, thank you so much once again for being on the podcast.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Pascal.
Thanks again. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you very much again. Well, thank you so much, Carlos, for sharing with our listeners your incredible artistic journey. Please follow and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. Have a great week, everyone. And I'll see you in September for Write Your Narrative Season 2.